Hello everyone, I am Shabana Hussain, and in this video today we are going to discuss about the most important topics of research aptitude. So previously we also had a video on teaching aptitude and I discussed the most important topics of teaching aptitude there. In today's video we are going to discuss in detail about the most repeated and the important topics of research aptitude. So, this analysis is purely based on the previous year questions, and depending on the PYQs only I have found out the topic, I have jotted it down, and I am trying to compile all these topics in this video. So, without wasting much time, let us start. It is a research aptitude that we are going to go through today. So, the first topic in the research aptitude unit is research itself. So, before starting research aptitude, you should very well understand what is research, alright. So, you have to understand what research is all about and what should be the qualities that a researcher should have to carry on a research. The next important topic that I feel is the steps. So, the steps or the process of research. So, we get a lot of questions from the steps in research. It is like arranging, it is a sequence kind of a question and you are asked to arrange the steps. The third topic is basically the types of researches. So, types of researches, I would say it is the most important and the most repeated topic in research aptitude. So, it is the type of researches. Under the type of researches there are lot of researches. So, what I will do is I will give you a list of those researches from where the questions were repeated again and again. So, the first kind of research is exploratory research. Now, see, you might get confused when you are going through the types of researches, alright, because you have so many. So, again here I would say that the keyword approach that I always talk about, it will help you in identifying the kinds of researches. So, we have the exploratory research, we have the descriptive research. Descriptive research, again under descriptive research we have two other researches, which is the longitudinal research and we have the cross sectional research. Okay. Then we have the diagnostic research also. Yes, diagnostic research, I have seen that NTA has asked questions based on diagnostic research as well. Then we have the causal research. Causal research, it is also called as the hypothesis testing research, and it is famously known as experimental research. It is the famous name, which is the experimental research. Now, experimental research is very important. Something related to experimental research is, I would say, the ex post facto research. So, there are points of similarity with the ex post facto research, and NTA, the questions it targets is it gives examples, alright. See, in these kind of researches they won't directly ask you what this research is all about, no. You might get statements, but those statements will again be very confusing. So, in that case you have to target the keywords. Apart from that, you will get questions like examples. So, they will give you example statements, they will give you case studies and they will ask you whether it is an experimental research or an ex post facto research. So, then you have to see the difference between the two. There is a slight difference between the two. If you can identify the difference, you will then come to know what kind of research is it, alright. So, experimental and ex post facto research, be very careful with both of these kind of researches, very important. The next we have is fundamental research. Fundamental research. Then we have is the applied research. Under or I can say a part of applied research is also action research, which is again very important. The repeated keywords, I have seen question papers loaded with these keywords, okay, which is the cyclic and the immediate, yes, immediate. So, because it is the immediate solution to a problem. So, cyclic is, I have seen it repeatedly. I have also seen this keyword, which is improvement. These are very much repeated keywords for action research. Whenever you get action research, I am 100% sure you will get these keywords for sure. So, it is about action research. The next kind of research we have is again very important, which is the quantitative research, and related to it is the qualitative research. Now, see the researches I am writing together. What you can do is, when you study these kind of researches, you can make a comparison chart, because for researches like experimental and ex post facto, for researches like applied and action, for researches like qualitative, quantitative, what you do is, when in one chart you try to compare and you try to study, you can go through a lot of content together, alright, and it will help you in your better understanding. So, these kind of researches, the approach you can use is definitely keywords. It is the keywords that is going to help you to identify these kind of researches, because mind it, the questions will be confusing, you will get confused. Anyways, there are other types of researches as well. So, we will not discuss about it today, as I have given you the broader aspect, that is the types of research, and these are the immediately and the most questioned types. So, after we are done with the kind of researches, it is the hypothesis. Hypothesis itself is a broader area of study. So, hypothesis is very important, you cannot miss this topic, you have to go through the entire content of hypothesis. So, there are types of hypothesis, there are different types of hypothesis, but out of them we have two major hypotheses, which is the null hypothesis and the alternative hypothesis. You have to go through it, you have to go through the rules of the null hypothesis, you have to go through the errors. We have the type 1 error and the type 2 error, so which is also called as the alpha and the beta error. So, very important. The next topic which comes is the steps. Yes, now sequence based questions are asked repeatedly. So, again when there are steps, when there are processes, it is very common that you might get it in the form of a sequence question, alright. So, we are done with hypothesis. The next we will move on to is sampling. So, sampling is again a broader one. Under sampling we have two kinds of sampling, mainly the probability sampling and we have the non-probability sampling. The two kinds of sampling, probability and non-probability. Under probability sampling we have different kinds of sampling, like simple random sampling, we have systematic sampling, we have the stratified sampling, we have clustered sampling. Under known probability sampling we have the snowball sampling, convenience sampling, purposive sampling. So, a lot of sampling designs, again you have to go through it. So, please do not miss this entire category of the different kinds of sampling. So, we will try to come up with these important topics in the classes or the videos that we will be coming up with next. So, sampling is a very important topic of this particular unit. The next I will move on is the types of scales. Types of scale. So, the types of scale we have is the nominal scale, the ordinal scale, we have the interval scale and the ratio scale. So, very important, you have to go through the types of scales as well. Then we have some parts of the types of tests, not some parts, it is the types of tests. So, we have two tests, which is the parametric test and the non-parametric test, alright. So, under the parametric and non-parametric test, there are different tests. We have chi-square test, we have the ANOVA, we have Z test, T test, F test, we have so many kinds of tests, alright. So, you have to go through the names, at least you should know which comes under the category of parametric test and which comes under the category of non-parametric test. You need to see the sample size, because for some tests you need a larger sample size, for some tests you need a smaller sample size. So, you have to keep note of those things. You also have to go through the one-tailed and the two-tailed test, that is also very important. Now, if I say you get some parts of the statistics. Now, statistics, it depends on your second paper as well, because me coming from a purely commerce background, we do get questions related to statistics, alright, but then it depends on the second paper, your subject paper, and you might or you might not get questions relating to statistics if you come from a pure arts background where you do not have much about statistics. Anyways, so after the statistics we can move on to the research ethics. Research ethics, very important again. You have to know about the plagiarism, about what plagiarism is, what are the plagiarism detection software. So, these comes under the research ethics. You need to know the styles of referencing, the referencing styles, even this is very important. So, for research aptitude overall we can summarize it in these 10 topics. There are few more other topics which you can only understand once you try solving the previous year papers. So, for solving the previous year papers, do check out our application and our website. We have loads of previous year papers for you know, provided there. So, I hope these topics will be very effective and useful for you in your preparations. We still have a lot of time, as we know that the UGC NET exams, it's also, you know, being rescheduled from 21st of August. So, you have a lot of time. Even if you go through these important topics, you'll be able to cover a lot of syllabus. So, we will definitely be coming up with a lot of content on research aptitude also. Till then, if you feel that this video is useful and we could contribute something to your preparation, please hit the like button. Do comment us and let us know what topics you want us to cover. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel and follow us for more such informative videos. Thank you so much for watching.